السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. هل الانتخابات الرئاسية في سوريا ستغير المعادلات الإقليمية وحتى الدولية؟ وهل تؤكد فشل السياسة الخارجية الأمريكية؟ وكيف سيتعاطى الغرب مع نتيجة هذه الانتخابات؟ الانتخابات الرئاسية في سوريا بعيون المراقبين الدوليين من الداخل. معكم زينب صفار، تابعونا. التسونامي الذي شهدته العاصمة اللبنانية بيروت في 28 من أيار مايو الفائت للسوريين الذين نفروا إلى السفارة السورية في اليرزي لانتخاب رئيس لسوريا ما هو إلا موجة صغيرة أمام موجات السوريين في مختلف المناطق السورية إلى صناديق الاقتراع في 3 من حزيران يونيو لانتخاب الأسد لولاية ثالثة لمدة 7 سنوات. هذه الانتخابات التي جاءت بعد تعديل دستوري وبمشاركة مرشحين 2 إضافة إلى الرئيس الأسد حظيت بمراقبة دولية من قبل مجموعة من الخبراء الذين حضروا من كندا وأمريكا وروسيا وأوغندا وزيمبابوي وبوليفيا ولبنان والفلبين وفنزويلا وإيران وطاجكستان وإيرلندا، لا كممثلين عن حكوماتهم بل بصفتهم الخاصة للاطلاع عن كثب على مجريات العملية الانتخابية بكل تفاصيلها. المراقبون الدوليون الذين توزعوا على المراكز الانتخابية في مدن عديدة مثل حمص واللاذقية وطرطوس ودمشق وريفها والسويداء ومناطق أخرى أفادوا أن الانتخابات جرت في أجواء ديمقراطية تتمتع بالشفافية وأن الشعب عبر عن إرادته الحرة ومارس حقه المشروع. الخبير في العلاقات الدولية والصحفي الكندي السابق في الصحيفة الكندية الرسمية جلوبال ميل والخبير في قضايا الإعلام والتضليل الإعلامي والسياسات الكندية الأستاذ توني سيد كيف يصف مشاركته في مراقبة الانتخابات الرئاسية السورية في ظل ضغوط دولية كثيرة، وما هي المعايير التي قامت عليها عملية المراقبة، وكيف صورت وسائل الإعلام الرسمية في كندا الأزمة السورية وهذه الانتخابات، وكيف يصف أهمية الانتخابات الرئاسية ونتيجتها لسوريا في الداخل وفي العالم. Tony Seed, Canadian expert in international relations and independent journalist who used to work formerly with the Canadian national newspaper, the Globe and Mail. Welcome to the Inside, sir.
Thank you again.
Well, before we go into the details of your observations as an international observer of the presidential elections in Syria, allow me to ask you here, why did you choose to come to Syria as part of this big international delegation to observe the elections?
Well, 2 reasons. First of all, it's not that I had 2 days notice. Mm-hmm. So I did not think pros and cons. I would say one is to be invited was a great honor, and I was humbled by it, and I think it is necessary to see with my own eyes what I have been analyzing in theoretical terms and political terms. Mm-hmm. That is to see the human reality, the social reality that the people of Syria have been facing.
Who invited you here, sir? You come in your own capacity, but not as a formal international monitor of the elections.
No,
right?
I was invited explicitly as an independent journalist by the People's Assembly and the Syrian Election Commission. Uh-huh. And in this, this was the immediate reason to come. Because in my writing, I'm not a detached expert. I use my specialization, or if you like, expertise or study, to combat the policy of Canada under United States imperialism, which is the policy of a rogue state.
Right.
All right? Now, the second aspect, why did I come? It is for me to realize a dream, if you like. It is a pilgrimage to Damascus, to Syria, and to the Middle East. It is the first visit I have made at this stage in my life, and maybe the last. So it is the visit of a lifetime, and I do not want to go home.
Now, allow me to go back to the subject of your observations here in Syria. Can you tell us about, the process through which you went down on the ground and monitored or observed the elections? Where did you start from? How did you start? With what did you start? Were you briefed by any Syrian side on the way or the track that you have to follow concerning your observations?
There are 3 delegates from Canada. And we went by plane and by car to Latakia district, to Tartus, and also to Homs by car. We met people of all ages, all walks of life. We were impressed by the extraordinary enthusiasm of the elector to vote. Somebody asked me, are these elections like elections in Canada? I said, today it is a festival. It seems to me to be a festival of the Syrian people and nation. This I saw mostly more in the working class and peasant areas. The extraordinary enthusiasm. And this, to me, was a great joy. It was a whole day of joy, personal joy, to see this firsthand. Okay.
What about the turnout and the balance?
The turnout compared to Canada was far greater. Okay.
Right.
Election in Canada is like this. It is a silent day. Election in Syria is full of noise, full of life, full of spirit. Election in Canada is a day of fear and foreboding amongst the working people. Working person goes in Canada to vote because it is his social and civic responsibility. But that night, he goes to bed and he has a nightmare because he does not know in the morning when he wakes up who will govern the country for the next term. Will it be this party of the rich or that party of the rich? Okay? This is why it says, to me, it was a matter of such joy. It was a festival, okay?
Right.
So yes, we talked with election workers. We saw how the voting was done, the registration, people so proud.
The indelible ink.
Indelible ink,
yes.
Right? I also saw people using the secret, to make the secret ballot. It was interesting that most who did that were women. I saw that a lot of people said, no, I want people to know I'm voting for Bashar. Right? And they put that there without going. No, you could call that.
Did you face any problems, or did the people face any problems during the process of casting the ballots? Did you see any? Did you report on anything? Did you take notes on anything?
No,
concerning
I took notes. I myself did not see any, but that was not my concern. You can have technical violations, and I'm sure there were technical violations over here, or over here, or over here. For whatever reason. I am also sure they are the exception to the norm. The Election Commission has certified the results as being in fair and transparent process. I support that decision.
Right.
This election has been according to the Syrian norms. Okay. Second point I will say is this: Syria does not have to justify its elections to anyone.
Because the West, today they rejected,
So
the
what?
outcome of the elections.
So what?
My question here is, sir, despite this huge, massive turnout, not only on the national level here in Syria, but also in the embassies in the external world, what does that really indicate, this passion and this huge, massive turnout towards electing or re-electing President Assad back in office for a third term, a 7-year third term? What does that indicate, despite of the fact that various embassies across the world, they tried to shut their doors in front of the Syrian expatriates, denying them the right to vote?
The Harper War Government of Canada is one of those. It was one of the first governments which brutally severed diplomatic relations and expelled the ambassador. As a result, all Canadians of Syrian nationality eligible to vote in the elections were not permitted. There were no facilities in Canada to participate. At the same time, Government of Canada, very interestingly, it issued a statement halfway during the day of June 3rd, attacking the elections, that they're a fraud organized by a dictator who throws barrel bombs on the people and so forth. On the other hand, in terms of Ukraine, one statement after another, every day, up to the elections and the day of elections, that the right to vote is a cornerstone of democracy. And this is what is being realized in the Ukraine. Where there is fighting going on, you can have legitimate elections. In Syria, where there's fighting going on, although marginal, these elections are illegitimate, okay? So Syrian people have nothing to learn from Canada or what it knows or doesn't know about democracy. It has nothing to prove to Canada. Canada violated the rule of law by denying the people of Syrian ancestry the right to participate in the elections.
Right.
It's another form of interference in the internal affairs
of another sovereign country.
Because the Syrian people inside the country and outside the country are one.
Right. Sir, Mr. Tanisi, we're going to stop now for a short break. But then when we come back, we're going to talk a bit further about the foreign policy of various countries in the West vis-à-vis the Syrian conflict and the Syrian crisis. إذن من الداخل سيعود بعد الفاصل، لا تذهبوا بعيدا.